It looks like we might soon be burning through trillions. The coming of traditional Terra loans. Months? Over the past 24 hours, volume has reached $1.6 billion. We have calculated the new token burn rate and token price goals to give you the most up-to-date information possible. Okay, then. So let's get right down to business. The burn is expected to take place on September 12 at around 9:00 a.m., so let's start planning accordingly. But we'll be discussing this more in future videos. It's true that the pricing and volume will determine how much of the 1.2% burn we're actually able to implement. This is because we are buying back our own stock and then burning it. And we all know that the more there is, the less it costs per unit. We will be able to buy these tokens back and destroy them in a short time frame. With the recent spike in volume and price, it's clear that we need to recalculate some of the variables involved. It is clear that we could purchase back and burn around $75 billion if we kept up our current transaction volume of $1.5 billion each day. Classical everyday use as used by Terra. Approximately 2.25 trillion, or about $27 billion, in historic currency per month. 1 trillion classical pieces every year. Your first thought is probably, well, what the heck? The question is how you can burn that many tokens. There's just 6 trillion in circulating supply. Clearly, then, this is only an extrapolation. Will we maintain $1.5 billion if we hold both price and volume constant? Honestly, I don't think so. And if we were to cut the supply and circulation by that much, we'd definitely see an increase in price as well. Now we're getting to the part of the bone where the math gets a little hairy. What do you think will happen as the total amount in circulation decreases from $6 trillion to $5 trillion, $4 trillion, and finally $3 trillion? It's only natural that we raise the price a little. Hear from Turner Classic as they lower the supply. Rising costs are inevitable so long as demand remains unchanged. But if the volume does not increase proportionally, we will gradually be able to burn less and less. The cost of tokens rises as more is issued. However, if we maintain a stable price but enormous trading volume, we may in fact be annihilating trillions in token transactions. The current levels, though, do offer us a good idea of what we could be able to burn over the following month. As I was saying, take a look at that burn. Add it back into the equation. The first month should see us burning 1-2 trillion tokens at most. This, of course, assumes that the price doesn't rise too high and that daily transaction volume can remain of $1 billion. It's possible that this number might be closer to 500 billion to 1 trillion tokens if the price skyrockets, and we don't get the volume up to like 3 to 4 billion. We may not have reached 1 trillion tokens in the first month, but I'm confident we were on course to do so. This figure, however, may be substantially greater if the burn rate is increased to its historical average of roughly $3 billion each day. We're consistently doing between $2 and $3 billion a day for Turner Classic, especially before the big collapse. And then, yeah, we might be burning for real. Over 3 trillion tokens would appear before me. If we're having a burn that massive, I expect Terra Classic's price to rise significantly, which is what everyone wants, thus I don't see 4.5 trillion. So there is a potential conflict of interest. Everyone wants the price to rise, but as it does, our available supply of coins will decrease. Roger for already exceeding 1.5 billion, but if volumes can reach the 2 to 3 billion threshold, that would be incredible. For the extreme top of the like FOMO and hype, when everyone is buying and selling with the bones going crazy for like 24 to 48 hours, I do honestly think a volume of like $3 to $5 billion a day is doable. And throughout that time frame, we might be expending hundreds of billions of tokens. But this is where Terra Classic really stands to benefit in the long run. A fire's first month of operation is always the most chaotic. I anticipate a large burn set, but the volume will begin to drop after that. I envision ourselves sifting through the ground at these prices during a down market or a recession, somewhere in the range of 1% to 2%. $500 million every single day. In my opinion, 100. A more reasonable estimate would be 1 million every day. That allows us to take an additional trip once a year. Cut the money supply by $2, $3 trillion. As I've already mentioned, this is why the 99% burn or the 1 cent threshold are considered such lofty price goals. And the healing time for these burns will be in the years, if not longer. It will take 10 years to reduce the current supply to the billions. That's the kind of attention Terra Luna Classic deserves, of course. Raised to $1, $10, or even $50 if we burn down 90% to 90%, 5% to 99% of the supply. A positive sign is that the billions of dollars in expenditures are increasing rapidly. As we approach the 24-hour mark, the current pricing is quite reasonable. Some very new faces will be joining us soon. As this phase of fear of missing out, FOMO persists, I predict that a large number of transactions will take place within the community when that burn goes live. So from what I can see above, I think 1 to 2 trillion tokens in the first month is entirely achievable. After 6 months, 1 year, and 5 years, we want to see a healthy volume if we can raise the chain's volume back up to $500 million to $100 million through staking, proof of stake, and new projects joining the blockchain. Actual value, not just the fear of missing out that is prevalent nowadays. It's possible that within a few years, we may see the number drop from the trillions down into the hundreds of billions or perhaps single-digit billions. And that? Yes, that's the point. Certainly a place where cost can go over the roof. Therefore, even at low market capitalization below the billion-dollar barrier, $1 becomes more conceivable if we reduce the number to the range of $65 to $6.5 billion. Give me a heads up. A lot of people are throwing about statistics, but the volume is through the roof. Right now, as I've already mentioned, in the middle of September, there are trillions of dollars worth of horror and classic potential that will be burned. Throw in a like and call it good. You should subscribe to this channel if you found this video helpful. Your help is greatly appreciated. All of you can expect to hear from us again in a short while. Goodbye.